The time has finally come. I can stop dreading Thursday nights and having to fight Amazon copyright claims. The Rings of Power Season 2 is finally over, and you know what? Let's just get into it and talk about this disappointing finale so we can be done and over and forget about this for another 2 years before Season 3 comes out. We open with Duran's son looking for his father, and we see Dee's nuts, who is virtually unharmed while everyone else around her is half dead because diversity, and she goes, "It's the ring, you must stop him." Epic music swells, and Duran goes, "No matter what you hear, you don't go down that mine," and then they kiss. King Duran is hitting the mine wall with a big hammer thing, and Duran's son comes in demanding for him to take off the ring, or he'll take the whole hand. King Duran goes, "Oh yeah? You about to cripple dear old dad?" And Duran's son goes, "No, I love you, daddy. Here are some of my childhood memories to try and sway you against the super evil, magical, corrupting ring." Well, this does not work, and King Duran does another push of the battering ram thing and opens a big cave with a large vein of mithril. King Duran is just so happy and gloating about how the rings means that he owns the mountain and how he can see all it's worth. Oh no, a flame-like light starts to appear with spooky sounds we all know. Duran's son immediately says, "Run from whatever it is," but wait, the flame whip of a Balrog jumps out from the abyss and wraps around the king's leg and just kind of drags him like 2 feet. Wow. I guess dwarves are really dense, or the Balrog just wanted to make sure they could have their little emotional moment while he did a bunch of "look how scary I am" while struggling to climb the mountain movements. There is literally no logical reason why the king is not dragged off the cliff to his death. But King Duran looks at the Balrog and finally takes the ring off. He tells his son to forgive him and sacrifices himself to the Balrog in a not at all rip-off way of Gandalf's sacrifice. I guess those dwarves weren't as beat up as I thought. Wait, what kind of jump is that? With like the super heroic spread eagle. What the fuck was that axe made of to cause an explosion like that when clashing with like a large flamed sword thing? Oh, and there's the opening. That was the entirety of the Balrog thing for this episode and season, by the way, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, we are now back in Rohan, and look, not Gandalf is not looking for his staff. He chose to save his friends. Wow, he found the Desert Shire real easy. Turtle! Best part of the episode. Not Sauron is also at the Desert Shire, and I'm guessing a lot happened off screen. He does a better deception attempt than anything Sauron has tried though so far, and is telling not Gandalf, "Oh, good to see him, old friend," and that he was the one that sent him to Middle-earth in order to trap Sauron. I'm not sure if the Dark Wizard guy should know that not Gandalf has no memory, but apparently he does, and is trying to give him the false memory of being friends and that Tom Bumblesnatch was wrong about him being evil. He even promises that the halflings will not be harmed and kills one of the masked goons when he doesn't let them go. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. I thought the masked goons were pretty loyal to the wizard man, but I guess not. Well, all the other masked goons then flee, and the Dark Wizard goes, "See, I'm not such a bad guy." Gadamba calls him Dark Wizard, and he goes, "No, I'm not Dark Wizard. That name was just given to me during a little misunderstanding." And Gandalf goes, "Well, I mean, you do want to rule the world, don't you?" And not Sauron is like, "Yeah, well, but not with Sauron, so I can't be that bad. I want to rule it with you, my friend." Gandalf says no to that, so not Saruman decides to drop boulders on halflings and leaves, saying, "Come find me when you change your mind." Oh yeah, not Gandalf, I guess, stops some of the rocks from falling. Okay, cut to Numenor. And the leaders of the faithful have been gathered by Pharazôn, who's trying to convince them that the queen was only let go by the sea because she is allied with Sauron. Yeah. The faithful are then declared to be traitors and ordered to be rounded up, and for once, this chick, whose name I can't pronounce, is not a big fan of what Pharazôn is doing. She runs away to find Daddy Elendil and warns him, and she even moves the guard along. We then see Elendil with Muriel, and he is trying to convince her to leave. She goes, "No, here, have a sword that looks vaguely similar to the one from Peter Jackson movies," and tells him to claim his lordship and destiny. Cue unsheathing sword and looking at it trope. Oh, yeah. Oh, we are back at Aragion, still being sacked. Oh, look, the orcs are having just such a great time. Aw, then Gladriel comes and ruins it. She's getting some elf ladies out of the city through the secret dwarf tunnel, but oh no, the orcs were waiting for them on the other side. Wait, so they knew about the tunnel and exactly where it was this entire time? Why didn't they fucking use it to get orcs inside of Region and like flank the elves or some shit? What the fuck, show? Well, Gladriel goes, take me to Adar and spare these elves because I have rings, and then we see a long blood trail. Oh no, Celebrimbor has been turned into a quiver for Sauron's arrows. How awful. Sauron is torturing Celebrimbor to get him to tell him where the 9 rings are. He's doing this with both pain and his weird, I just want to share your gift with the world, innocent face beg thing. Celebrimbor refuses and talks about how he will die soon and go to essentially heaven, a place Sauron can never go. Then he tells Sauron that he's a craftsman only of trickery, and that he will be a slave and betrayed by the rings of power, and he's pretty much claiming that on his deathbed, he's seeing glimpses of the future and what Frodo will do with the One Ring. Sauron gets pretty pissed at this and stabs Celebrimbor, who then calls him the Lord of the Rings and dies of cringe. The cringe was also apparently strong enough to make Sauron cry. Look, he's such an emotional demon. He genuinely cared for his little ring-making boyfriend. Ugh. Yeah, no, this is totally Sauron. Totally a great and powerful demon lord hell-bent on spreading darkness. He just totally gets emotionally attached to his little elf playthings. Oh, look, Glug is here now and asking if he is Sauron. Looks like he's going to say, we don't like Adar anymore and we want to follow you instead. And then we are back with the old Numenor village thing with Isildur. Him and Theo talk about living with the guilt for being the cause of their mother's deaths for a bit, and then Theo leaves and Wild Lady enters. Apparently, she and her fiance are building a home in town. I guess they aren't that into Adar anymore, and no one from the village seems to be holding a grudge with them for kidnapping and murdering. Estrid confesses she doesn't really love her fiance, and Isildur does not need any more of a hint than that and kisses her. He wants Estrid to run away with him to Numenor. But oh look, Cayman is there now, and I guess they're wanting to build a fortress. Cayman and Isildur reunite, and Cayman drops the bomb about what's been happening in Numenor, and Isildur is not happy. Cayman orders trees to be cut down to make a fortress, and Isildur and Estrid share an oh no look. Then we're back at Region, and oh wow, the orcs are handling the sun very well somehow. And Adar is praying to a rock that seems to have been crowned Morgoth's replacement. All hail the boulder of darkness! Gladriel tells Adar that she has rings and is willing to work with him. Adar then shows her that he has her ring and that he doesn't need her. He then turns around and oh my god, the ring has fixed his face and he's all elf-like. Fucking bullshit rings of power. Man, they just do whatever the fucking story needs them to do. I guess they did set up the mithril repels darkness thing or whatever, but this is just too much. And it doesn't even matter because Adar goes, you know what? I like being a spooky boy, and just gives the ring back. He wants to be spooky, but also live in peace with the elves and forgives Gladriel for murdering a lot of orcs. What the fuck is happening? The ring has the power of sudden mind changing, I guess, now, but whatever. Oh no, look, it's Glug in a stretcher. I guess he didn't side with Sauron, and wait, nope, it's a betrayal. Oh, look, now Adar is the one being Julius Caesar. Oh, how the turns of table. Poetry, it rhymes. Oh. Okay, Sauron. Yeah, just ignore the lady with the rings and go watch, I guess. Gladriel, what the fuck are you doing? Leave. You have the 9 rings, and he is right there with the powerful crown thing and some orcs. Get the fuck away. Glug does the finishing blow and asks what next, and Sauron goes, yeah, you know that thing you're kind of upset with Adar for? Yeah, keep doing that, but this time, don't hate it. They start chanting Hail Sauron and leave. Sauron turns menacingly to Gladriel, who has still not left, and she goes, you orchestrated all this, and he admits, nope, but a lot of it just kind of fell into my lap because you're all dumb. Gladriel tries to strike down Sauron, and he starts to fight her with the crown and the sword. Sauron wants Galadriel's ring and the nine. I don't know why he wants hers, but he does. Probably because it's not actually corrupted, and he wants to corrupt it and then just give it back. Okay, jump to a Region City Square set that is used for everything because a billion-dollar show can't afford a different location. And Gil-galad and Elrond are being brought in to see the orcs toppling the big statue. They are about to burn some books from the Library of Alexander, and Elrond begs them to stop and even puts up a fight after they knock down Gil-galad. But this is futile, and the scrolls burn anyway. Oh, hey, Arondir, you're not dead. Called it. But we don't see him die, so he's probably fine. Okay, back to the fight between Sauron and Gladriel. Sauron, during all the crown and sword interlock stuff, is talking about how he wants Gladriel to be his queen thing or whatever, and he tries to trick her by changing forms to multiple people. Oh god, now there are two Galadriels. Jesus Christ, make it stop. Okay, Celebrimbor now. Oh, and he does the seed you planted line from Galadriel's vision at the beginning of the season. Oh, look, the vision came true. Or Sauron knew about it, or whatever. Who cares? It all means nothing. Sauron kicks Galadriel's sword away so he can do a far-off stare and monologue a bit, and just lets her get to it so they can start fighting again. Gladriel starts to fight better, and at this point, I was like, if she ends up beating him, then why the fuck wasn't she at the battle at the end of the War of the Last Alliance? But thankfully, Sauron gets the upper hand and stabs Gladriel with the crown. Sauron tells her he would have made her his queen, and then does a bastardized version of the "I would be a docked, beautiful queen" speech Gladriel gives in the Fellowship of the Ring. I guess she learned that from Sauron and not by seeing into the future about what would happen if she accepted the ring. Sauron then picked up the sack of the nine, and we hear horns in the background. The dwarves have finally arrived to help the elves. I guess they don't care about the Balrog in the basement and sent the army to Eregion. The dwarves start wiping the floor with the orcs, and we are back with the Cringe Twins. Sauron Jedi mind tricks Galadriel to give her the ring, but she goes, "Psych, bitch," and jumps off the cliff. And if you thought it was impossible for an elf not wearing a ring and having just been stabbed by a magical evil crown to survive this fall, you would be wrong. Glug shows up, going, "Master Sauron, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?" And Sauron kills him. Hi, Glug. I will instantly forget you. See, look, Gladriel is fine. Just a little, black goo infection thing around her crown holes. But don't worry, a little combined ring magic and she'll be okay. Because Elrond trusts the rings now, for some reason. And Morgoth's crown is not as bad as being stabbed by a Morgul blade. That could totally be healed, so don't worry about the ring healing bullshit. It isn't a problem in the movies. Or in the next season, we'll probably learn that she can't leave the sanctuary because that is what's keeping the darkness at bay from her wound holes, and that's why she isn't in all the battles and stuff in the movies. And we are back at the Sandy Shires, and everyone is packing up their stuff to become the wandering kind of halfling, because totally can't fix place. There are rocks everywhere. Poppy gives a speech about not giving up at times of loss or whatever, and we get shots of dwarves in mourning, elves leaving Eregion, Isildur looking at Wild Lady on a boat, Muriel in change, Elendil on the run, and Sauron looking at a hammer, conceiving the One Ring. Once the speech is done, a bunch of the Sand people tell not Gandalf, "Thanks, Grand Elf." You see what they did there? Because they said, "Oh, he must be one of those Grand Elves" a few episodes ago, and now they're calling him Grand Elf, and it vaguely sounds like Gandalf. And he even goes, "That's an interesting name." The subtlety is a masterclass. Well, then Nori goes, "I gotta teach him how to wander and abandon and eat each other and all that, complete the prophecy about the Shire shit. So yeah, see you later, not Gandalf." Then not Gandalf finds his staff just sitting next to the rubble, and he goes back to Tom Bombalambada. He goes, "Oh, that was a test. I was supposed to choose friends and not powers, and hey, look at my staff." Tom goes, "Yep, your staff found you, and your name." Not Gandalf goes, "Yep, they apparently are going to call me Gandalf," and the internet went mild. Oh, and they started singing the Tom Bombadil song from the books. Ugh. Not Sauron looks at the sky, and we are back with the dwarves. Secretary Dwarf gives Duran the report from the battle, and then they talk about all the problems the king's death has set up for the next season. None of which include the giant fire demon from Helm in the basement. Yep, they completely forgot that they saw the king jump into the mouth and be exploded by the Balrog. They are just staying in Khazad-dûm and not getting the fuck out of Dodge. But yeah, apparently other dwarf lords are now biting for the throne, including Duran's brother, we are just now learning about. They finish off the dwarves' tale for the season by having them look at all the dwarven rings. Because, oh no, they're going to put them on for sure. And wait, will they still have all 7? I thought King Duran, pawned them off to get shares of the cash from the other dwarf kingdoms mining. You know what? I really don't care. None of this is canon in my mind anyways, and I've got a full liquor cabinet ready to help me forget this shit. So to finish this slop off, we have Gladriel waking up a little sore but otherwise fine in a sanctuary near a river. I was surprised they didn't say, hey, we're in a dale near a river. Oh man, we should call this place Rivendale. Elrond goes, hey, I like the rings now. Here's yours back. Arondir's there too and looks completely unharmed after this. And they ask Gladriel what to do next. Attack Sauron right away or fall back and gather forces. Because fuck the king and Elrond, right? It's all up to the stupidest of them all, Gladriel, the person who made every wrong decision possible and caused 80% of these events. She doesn't give a battle strategy, thank God, and instead tries to inspire us by using the words of the late retard Celebrimor about the light shining or whatever. They do the whole raise the sword up and everyone starts cheering because the morale is now refilled thing, and the episode and the season is finally, thankfully, over. Just like the entire season, this finale had major issues with important things just being done off screen. What shots they chose to linger on make no sense, and they do not use hour-long runtime in an effective manner. The episodes feel like nothing and everything happens at the same time because there's just so much bloat and side stories happening, where most of the stories are happening at a crawl while others are just speeding by. No thought has been put into the entire season. Each episode forgets multiple things that happened last time and give little to no explanation. The things people can survive is just crazy. They're falling off cliffs into trees, getting hit by multiple arrows, stabbed 1,000 times, being hit by trees and trolls. Sauron's plan is nonsensical, and they keep flip-flopping between he devised it all master tactician or it just kind of worked out in his favor. This whole sympathetic actually had a connection with people, so was a little sad he has to be evil villain thing is getting old. Not only does it not fit with the image of Sauron I have in my head from the movies, but in a just character writing perspective, it is not well done. He's no Thanos. Galadriel is the most insufferable character that everyone just seems to love and thinks she's the greatest thing of all time, even though almost everything is her fault. The reveals and key jangles of stuff you know from The Lord of the Rings are sloppily done, and everyone can see things coming from a mile away, like the Gandalf reveal and the Balrog just kind of being there. Why are the dwarves so cool with just knowing that that thing is there? It's like everything written is the first draft of the first idea. So much more thought and effort need to be put into these scripts. Once again, the timeline is absolutely fucked, and it's not even worth trying to figure out because the writers sure didn't give a crap. If I was forced to give positives, I would say the orcs looked pretty good. The Balrog face was also pretty good. You couldn't really see his body with all the smoke and darkness CGI crap, but the face was good. The dwarves had some good parts and were the better actors overall, and there were some neat concepts that, if done better, I probably would have liked. But overall, compared to at least the movies in my case, The Rings of Power doesn't deserve to even be associated with The Lord of the Rings. And in terms of a standalone fantasy show, it's just another forgettable show that won't be talked about in a month. And with that, I am finally done with this show until the next season comes out, if I can be bothered to try to fight the frickin' copyright claims that this gets all the time. So until then, like and subscribe. Let me know what you might want me to cover next time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.